Hey, good morning and welcome back to Smokey and Giraffe's Variety Show, where we are making Giraffe's succulent low-carb boneless pot roast. Alrighty, so we have our olive oil heating up in our pan on medium, a little past medium heat. And while that's heating up, we're going to go ahead and season our pot roast. So what we've done right now is we've taken our fork and we have made little holes in it so that we can brush the olive oil all over our pot roast and then season it. And then we're going to throw it into the skillet for 5 minutes on each side to brown it. All right, so we're going to just slightly pour our olive oil over the top, and we're going to slowly just massage it into our roast. We're going to flip it over. Oops, it's a little heavy roast there. And we're going to do it again. Be careful not to drop the bottle since it is a little slippery. All right. And one more time, we're going to go ahead and massage that into the holes in our pot roast. Okay, next we're going to take our garlic powder and we're going to generously place that over our roast. A little bit of paprika for you, Miss Susie Wispy. I'm going to place that over there. A little bit of Italian seasoning. A little generous portion of that. A little black pepper, and last but not least, a little bit of onion powder, and this is going to be our rub. There's no marinating needed. And we're going to also use a slow cooker instead of using the bag like we have in the book. So I'm going to go ahead and just rub that into the oil that's in our pot roast. We're going to flip it over, and then we're going to do the exact same thing. A little paprika for you, Susie, and our garlic powder. A little bit of, oops, let's try that again, a little onion powder, and then last but not least, our Italian seasoning. Okay. Okay, looks like our oil is definitely heated. So we're gonna go ahead and place this, our seasoned and oiled pot roast, into the frying pan for about 5 minutes on each side. If I can actually lift this up, it's a tad bit heavy. There we go. Yeah. There we go. So remember, just our primary purpose of placing in the skillet is to brown it on both sides, to sear in the flavor. So we'll do this for about 5 minutes and then we'll come right back. All right, it's been 5 minutes, so let's go ahead and flip our meat, our roast, and there we go. It has a nice brown on it. So we're gonna do the same thing for about another 5 minutes so that it gets another brown on the other side. Let's see how that turned out. Okay, we have our browning on the other side. It's nice and seared. Now we're going to go ahead and transfer over to our hot pot. Okay, so we have transferred our pot roast over to our hot pot. And as I've just showed you, there are the drippings. So we're going to go ahead and pour the drippings over the roast in our hot pot. Also include those into our skillet or into our cooker. And from there, we're going to go ahead and pour in some a can of pieces and stems mushrooms. I'm going to put it all around the, well, say around the roast as much as you can, but our roast is pretty big today, so it doesn't really matter. Let's make sure it's in there. From there, we're going to go ahead and take our chopped onions. I just chop the onions in 4s at first, and then maybe in 6s. They're not really finely chopped. This way it'll kind of melt into the pot roast as it cooks and give it flavor all throughout. All right, so we have our onions in there as well. We've already seasoned our roast, obviously. And then we have 2 cups of beef broth. Would have been ideal, but we didn't have that, so we're putting in chicken broth. And we just made that from a little bit of chicken bouillon. It doesn't matter, as long as there's a little bit of meat bouillon, it'll give us a nice flavor. We'll go ahead and cover that. And then we're going to turn it on high for 6 hours at least. It's only 11:30 right now, so we have plenty of time to cook. It'll be ready for dinner in at least 6 hours. Okay, so we have our pot roast on 6 hours on high, and what we'll do is about 3 hours into it, we'll go ahead and flip it to make sure that the bottom gets just as juicy as the top. All right, we'll see you in about 3 hours. All right, we just took our lid off. It has been cooking for 3 hours. It looks pretty delicious and looks like it's gonna be very tender. So we'll just flip that over. Make sure it's submerged in the juice. And it's coming along. We'll just put it on for another 3 hours and we should be finished. Altogether, it's been 6 hours. The last 3 have passed, and let's take this off and see what we have. Ooh la la! Look at that, it looks absolutely delicious. So what we're gonna do is we are going to let it rest for about 10 minutes. So we're gonna take it out of the pot. Ooh gosh, well that's falling apart. That's what we like to see. So we're just gonna place it onto a plate for about 10 minutes. That way, if we were to cut into it right now, all the juices would disappear and it would become dry. Okay, so we're gonna let it sit there for 10 minutes and then we're gonna cut it across grain and we will be ready to serve. So we let it rest for about 5 minutes and we cut it across grain. We've also taken out our onions and our mushrooms, and look how succulent our roast looks. For this recipe and other low-carb recipes, follow us on Amazon.com. Our book is located there. It's Smokey and Giraffe's Low-Carb Kitchen Recipes. Have a great night. Happy eating. Mwah.